You want to know what humiliation tastes like? Try swallowing your pride in front of 50 people who've already decided you don't belong. That's what it felt like my first day at Camp Pendleton, sweating buckets under the California sun, with nothing but a duffel bag, a black belt hidden under my uniform, and the kind of attitude you only get from growing up being underestimated. Yeah, I'm talking about those first steps off the bus, the ones that make or break you. For me, they were the start of a 12-week battle no drill instructor could have dreamed up. I clocked the stairs before my boots even hit the ground. 3 women in a sea of Delta Company testosterone didn't take a genius to figure out I'd be a walking target. First to pounce was Corporal Jake Morrison, this mountain of a man from Alabama, built like a linebacker and twice as loud. He comes strutting over with his crew Rodriguez with his tattoo sleeves, Thompson with that look like he'd rather watch you suffer than help, Hayes still living off his high school wrestling trophies, and Carter, the quiet shark waiting for blood in the water. You know the type. Morrison circles me, dropping lines about cheerleading camp being the next stop and flashing that good OL boy grin, his buddies hooting behind him. I kept my poker face, thank you. Years of martial arts for that, just nodded. Let him talk. My dad started training me at 7, Army Ranger style, taught me to fight back against a world that had never seen me coming. But the last thing you want to do is show your cards right away. So I took the hits and kept walking. He wasn't having it. Blocked my path, raising his voice, demanding I show respect. You're not my superior, I told him, steady as I could. We're all recruits here. I might as well have slapped him. His jaw clenched, and right then I knew this was only the beginning. You want to talk psychological warfare? Try being shadowed by a pack of hyenas every time you step outside your barracks. First combat drill, they're accidentally shoulder-checking me, knocking me in formation. When I didn't fall, Rodriguez muttered, "Careful there, princess. Wouldn't want you to break a nail." It was like high school bullies with military discipline. At chow, Thompson bumped my tray, food flying everywhere, and Hayes, classy as ever, made comments about my form as I picked it up, while Carter quietly started swiping stuff from my locker: soap, socks, the little things that drive you nuts over time. But the real hell started in hand-to-hand. Morrison had convinced Sergeant Davis old school, probably thought women in combat was a cosmic joke that I needed extra attention. The after-hours sessions were brutal. 5 against 1, all muscle and sneers, pinning me, taunting, maybe you should transfer to a desk job, Martinez. Every training session was them flexing for the crowd, building up to something big. So I played along, let them think they were breaking me. But every time they tried to move, I filed it a Rodriguez bad shoulder, Thompson's giveaway twitch, Hayes' wrestler instincts, Carter's shaky balance. And Morrison? All brute force. No finesse, easy to read if you kept your head. For weeks in, I saw where this was going. They were winding up for a grand finale. The stress-testful contact, no holding back, designed to weed out the weak. The room was buzzing, Davis barking about warriors versus wannabes, Morrison grinning like a cat with a mouse. He made sure everyone knew I was unprepared, and Davis, loving the spectacle, called me to the mat surrounded by Morrison and his boys. "You'll be tested," Davis said. "Let's see what Martinez can handle." The guys circled, betting on how fast I crumble. Morrison went first, shoving me into Rodriguez, who locked me up, then tossed me across the mat. I rolled, played the part, let my lip bleed. "Had enough yet?" Morrison mocked, pretending to care, but you could see in his eyes she wanted the knockout. They coordinated the next hit, Hayes tackling my legs, Thompson coming from behind, all of them piling on, the crowd loving every second. And then Morrison, winding up for the kill, one more demonstration. That was the moment when the years of holding back snapped. I heard my dad's voice: "When you finally strike, make it count." I let go. Thompson never saw it coming. I twisted, elbowed him so hard in the solar plexus he hit the ground like a sack of bricks. Morrison came in swinging big, stupid, predictable. I ducked, swept his ankles, all 220 pounds of him airborne for a second before gravity slammed him down so hard the floor shook. The whole place froze. Rodriguez tried to bull rush me, but I'd been waiting. I pivoted, spinning heel kick right to his bad rib. She dropped, whimpering. Hayes went for a double leg, classic wrestling, but I sprawled, flipped him clean over with a judo throw that would have made my old sensei cry. Carter just stared, then threw his hands up. I'm good. No demonstration needed. Smart man. 28 seconds. That's how long it took to end the pecking order in Delta Company. The silence afterward was unreal, just the sound of Thompson gasping, Rodriguez groaning, and everyone else looking at me like I'd sprouted wings. Davis stood there, jaw dropped, somewhere between shock and respect. Anyone else need a demonstration? I asked, wiping blood from my chin, and nobody even blinked. The legend was born right there. The security footage went viral before my lip even got stitched up. Corporal Jenkins ran it back 3 times, couldn't believe his eyes, sent it up the chain. General Hayes, base commander, highest-ranking female officer, watched it in her office and asked just one question. Where did this recruit learn to fight like that? Meanwhile, the guys I dropped were getting patched up down the hall. By evening, everyone had a version of the story, some saying I was a ninja, some whispering my dad was Special Forces. Davis finally called us to order. What happened today, he said, is a lessons kill, and determination beats size and arrogance every time. Remember that. The next morning, Morrison, black eye and all, came to my table in the mess hall. Martinez, he said, his voice different, I owe you an apology. That wasn't training, that was bullying. You showed us what real strength looks like. You could have hurt us way worse, but you didn't. That's respect. Rodriguez stepped forward, bandaged and limping. We were dead wrong about you. Anyone messes with you now, they answer to us. Later that day, General Hayes called me in. I want you to consider being a hand-to-hand instructor after you graduate. We need Marines who understand strength isn't about domination, but discipline. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Ma'am, I'd be honored. Good, she smiled. Starting tomorrow, you're going to help me change the way we teach combat. What happened out there is the new standard. 6 months later, I stood in front of a new class, the legendary footage on the screen behind me. Morrison, now my assistant. Strength, I told them, comes in all forms. Don't judge by size, gender, or background. Judge by heart, skill, and the courage to stand up for what's right. You remember nothing else. Remember that. That's how legends are made, not from rage, but from refusing to hide who you are. And you know what? Every training class after, they'd whisper about the girl who took down 5 Marines in 28 seconds. Not because she wanted to prove anything, but because she was finally done letting anyone else write her story. So what do you think? Was justice served? Was a lesson learned? Let's hear it. Woe gets to decide what real strength looks like. And where do we draw the line between tough love and bullying? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation isn't over, not by a long shot.